to go up against BLG, go and compete for this grand finals title. Already a lot of focus on that jungle, as we can see Trundle, Jarvan and the Kiana taken off the board. A little bit of a nod toward the top lane and maybe a little bit towards Shanks as well with that Azir ban. Get to see what top esports finally round out with. We've got no Varus, we've got no AD carries at the minute, so things like Yunara as well still open and available for AL if they want to take it. Plenty of picks, and we saw Hope have a good performance in game number 1 against JDG on that Yunara, so we'll see what it is that they are going to prioritize.
Go for the Annie. And the world is open in terms of carry junglers. Wukong, the common combo, still available, but even if that is sniped away by top esports, you can go for the Nefiri, as Tarzan has exemplified that he's totally comfortable with that carry jungler. You can also go for the Zed later on if that is not banned in the jungle pool. Top esports just taking the safe bet and trying to eliminate the guaranteed Wukong Annie combo here in the first round.
So they get rid of that, and it does give now a little bit of free reign to Creme almost to get a good pick in that mid lane if he wants to on 3. This was the pick though that I talked about that they've left open, right? We've seen Hope perform well on this. JackeyLove now gets to take it away. The Yunara pick up for the MVP of split number 3 has been taken up, and now we'll get to see what it is that anyone's legend want to try and answer that with. Normally we've seen things like Kai'Sa go into this Yunara as a bit of an opportunity to try to deal with her and duel her through the early stages of the game, and an Alistair locked in by her side certainly makes that little bit of sense. But instead, AL, they go hard, they go fast, and they go strong in that top side with the Scion.
Powerful frontline set up. I like this Silas hover though from Creme. You would be able to get so many powerful ultimates here, especially with the Alistar and the Scion already showing. But top esports also thinking about, should they secure a priority support for Hong instead? And that's going to leave up the Silas to be potentially banned away from anyone's legend.
I do think that Silas hover is a little bit of a bait to try and get AL to ban it on this second phase. Versus the Annie, it'll do fine in the laning phase, but I don't know that Creme wants to take that. You can have a better lane on something that's a lot longer range, things like a Victor, and I think that so far Creme has been maybe one of the more underperforming members of this top esports roster. So securing him a good matchup, you can see AL going for those things that have got range that typically tend to bully the Annie out. Things like that Orianna, like that Victor, can get taken off the board, and then you'd almost say to Creme, hey, if you want to take the Silas here, you're going to have to go the hard way around it. You're going to have to go through this brutal laning phase to try and make it work. Obviously, top esports, in their set of bans, they've got to ban away these AD carries and those junglers. It's a complete dipole of which 2 roles have been picked. The solo laners for anyone's legend are locked in. Top esports here don't have either of theirs, and maybe AL just look to take away something like a Gwen or something that's going to be able to farm up easily versus the Scion and then be a menace in the late game.
I think it's very telling that anyone's legend is considering not even banning the Silas. Yeah, they are not afraid. Top esports tried to goad them into saying, we're going to take this Alistar ultimate from you. And then anyone's legend saying, yeah, but Shanks will run Creme in lane. So, you know, that's on you, buddy. And for top esports, they're going to contemplate that mid lane choice a little bit longer. Go for the guaranteed counter pick into the Scion with this Aatrox.
Yeah, so good death ball already for top esports, right? We've got a solid team fight composition being picked up for them with that Wukong, the Nico, the Aatrox as well, just acting as a bit of a front line. Lots of space for Jackie to be able to do damage, and currently for anyone's legend, they've picked up largely the same thing, where they've got just a lot of front to back with their composition, with this Annie, with this Scion. But now the Kai'Sa here changes the composition entirely. It layers up so that the Alistair can try and find that flank angle, the Annie can try and find a flank angle, and then Hope bursts onto the backline, one-shots JackeyLove, gets the Yunara out of the game, and then you can start to take things a little bit slower. You can try and get through these bruisers, these less glass cannon style carries that top esports do still have. Obviously still waiting on Creme's mid lane pick here, and we get to see Tarzan in game number 1 whip out the Nefiri. So a very, very bruiser-esque, skirmish-oriented dive focus from AL's back 2 picks.
Yeah, it was either this or the Zed from anyone's legend, and I think the invulnerability that you get with that call of the pack from Nefiri gives you that extra bit of outplay ability, trying to dodge out on what would be a Pop Blossom or getting away from a Cyclone. Top esports contemplate long enough, and they decide that they want to give Creme a little bit of extra roaming power with this Rise, and even though you're not going to get to capitalize on some of these powerful ultimates from anyone's legend, I think the trade-off here, Rood, is the ability to contest the minion wave prio against Annie, thanks to the power of Rise, and also just trying to move around the map. When you think about their top esports series against BLG in the upper finals, Creme's Rise was one of the reasons why they won that game too and got an MVP for it at the end of the day too.
And I think that this Rise has an extra layer into those team fights as well. If we do see that big flank angle come through and it's on to JackeyLove as opposed to Creme, who I think is going to be the more higher focus target, you should be looking for Jackie in these fights. That Rise is just going to be able to root up the Kai'Sa on entrance. So frequently the combo for Kai'Sa is to ult into the backline, do a quick burst with a W and a Q, and then invisible, go away, try and buy space. As the Rise, you EW, she's rooted up in place. That gives, you know, a 1.5 second window for everybody to turn tail, focus that Kai'Sa down, and then maybe try and take her out of the fight.
I think Top Esports recognizing some of the pitfalls that caused them to lose their series against BLG. When you think about the champions that JackeyLove had to pilot, they weren't things that he had been able to carry on during the regular season. He had never gotten a chance to play Yunara. He didn't get a Kai'Sa game for himself. The only super mobile AD carry that he got that entire series was Lucian and Ezreal. Everything else, not the most agency. We get a chance to look at the predictions real quick.
Wow.
Roodood,
okay.
oh, you're pushing for Top Esports to go to Grand Finals.
Yeah, I am. I've been a fan of them the majority of this split. I think that AL's games versus JDG, despite it being a 3-0, you know, there were 2 games that were very ropey.
Well, let's see how it all unfolds, guys. It's finals weekend. It's lower finals, game 1. Let's hit the rift. We're the Gios. This is lower finals.
What is happening? What is happening? We put them in the stage.
I see so many people. Ain't no way it should be that quiet. Come on.
Yeah, I agree. We're flaming right again for the second time. They pulled the show forward and then they didn't put the crowd mic in the right spot. That's 2 strikes, buddy. 1 more and we're gonna have to relinquish your duties. But you know, we have got this lower final here, and obviously, for AL, this is a bigger series than just going to finals, as you highlighted in the pre-show, Mark. They win this, they go to Worlds by virtue of championship points for Top Esports. Not quite the same stakes if they win this. You know, they get to play in the final. They get to try and find their second split title in this year. But this series already, I mean, this has been the marquee matchup for 2025 between Top Esports and Anyone's Legend. Demacia Cup was the final, split number 1. So many battles back and forth with one another. Early heal being spent down here, but this is double range bot lane. Top Esports should be more than happy to take these trades, and you can see Kael having to expend that summon spell early just to keep purchase in the lane. But these are the 2 teams that have been, you know, dicing with one another for so long through this split, and it's almost sad that they come to blows not in the grand final.
If only Top Esports was able to clinch out Game 5 or even Game 1 of that series. So many what ifs that BLG were able to, at the end of the day, punish. And it's what puts Top Esports in this scenario, whereas Anyone's Legend has had to work through the lower bracket since getting knocked out in the first round. Creme sees Tarzan and says, yeah, I need to flash that one, as Shanks was trying to set up a gank for the Glizzies from Tarzan.
So he is a little bit delayed on his clear for going for that, but obviously getting the flash on an immobile mid laner is a very powerful tool and a very worthwhile sacrifice as well, making sure that the sort of weak spot for Top Esports is open to being punished. No flash in that mid lane does mean that the Annie's going to have a good opportunity to try and punish on the majority of those waves. We talked about the fact that Creme, you know, picking this Rise gets him push, gets him the ability to push and move, roam out onto the map, but now with no flash, it's going to be even more dangerous for him to push that advantage.
Other than the one mid lane visit from Tarzan, things have not gotten completely out of control. Obviously, a lot of power being shifted. Oh, flash from Kael finds
That's
Hong,
first blood, surely.
Flash away the last hurt shot. Does Hope would just want to send it over the wall. Can't get enough range. JackeyLove holding him in the line
what
there,
is happening?
making sure that Hope cannot pursue for another kill there, as the barrier was expended.
They're just scared that Kanavi's there, and, you know, with good reason, you can sort of see why. But, you know, if I'm playing solo queue and I'm Hope, I'm flashing in 10 out of 10 times there. But he knows that Kanavi's nearby, and ultimately, you know, I'm the one that's going to die in that situation. Now 369 having to avoid this Tarzan gank. You can see running around the Rosie with it.
369. Your ass might be fine here tonight. 369 flashes away from one eviscerate, but Tarzan is going to flash right on top. And the Darkened Dagger plus another flash from Flandre throws out the Laughing Panda emote. That's first blood going over to anyone's legend.
Maybe a little bit of overkill there from Flandre, just flashing for an auto attack, but he'll be grateful that he gets an assist and a part of this kill. Really good opportunity here for anyone's legend to make the most of these split jungle maps where Kanavi played his hand on the bot side, wasn't able to find a dive up there, but 369, you know, he's pushed forward in that top side, unfortunately not able to make the most of that or get out of the gank. Didn't get the wave crashed in time, and now anyone's legend commit to this swap. You can see that, you know, we've got hope up on that top side. JackeyLove's walking down to the bot lane. Sion's never really going to get punished. I just want to point out the win-loss ratio for Flandre on this Sion. 10-2 so far, this split, I believe. That is wild.
That's a pretty good record. I like the confidence of that one, at least going into a lower finals where the implications of winning means that our team automatically goes to the World Championship. Good stuff from Tabe, just making sure that his team is set up for success. But on the flip side, Rune, you got some compelling numbers as well. Some, at least an undefeated record on Creme's rise for playoffs so far. Already, anyone's legend in Top Esports just trying to come out game one swinging. And even though First Blood did go the way of anyone's legend right now, they're going to have to do something given the fact that Top Esports has been able to give JackeyLove and Hong a lot of breathing room in their matchup.
Yeah, I like this recall actually from 369. You can see that Tarzan's working his way up to that top side. There's a dive thoroughly on the cards, as you can see a little bit of a commit from Shanks there with this health crystal in the inventory. All of a sudden the Annie is rendered useless in the laning phase, and you can't really commit to an all-in without your jungler. But the Aatrox knows that he can't really take those bad trades and then try to stick around, and I even think trying to cross back into this pre-level 6, he might be zoned out of this experience. Maybe get to see Tarzan work his way up here and try and deny Aatrox even more.
369 would love to get a small crumb, maybe a smackerel of some XP, if not gold. Unfortunately, 369, you have been designated to weak side, as Kael, Hope, and Tarzan are now going to continue the dive, and 369 says, screw it, I'm going to pop my ultimate. I'm going to try to see how much CS. Wait a minute, we're actually turning this one around. Creme and Hong have arrived for a 3v3, and the World Ender gets to reap the fears of anyone's legend as they overplayed themselves on the top side, and Top Esports take all the benefits from it.
And Top Esports there with a big macro move. They take the dragon and come to defend their top laner. 369 incredibly wisely there. He knows his XP bar better than anyone's legend. He walks in, he sacrifices a bit of his HP, but it gets him level 6. And with that World Ender, he's just got a little bit too much stats, too many abilities to keep himself alive. The healing comes through. That on top of Creme and Hong getting realm warped in there means that Top Esports able to turn that around very nicely. A great little response there, an area of the map that we thought AL had the advantage in, but the power of that rise, once again, Creme having his pick, making it work for Top Esports.
And Rude, I know I gave anyone's legend the edge in winning this series tonight, but this play is very reminiscent to one of the few mistakes that anyone's legend made against their series against JDG, where they stayed way too long trying to force this dive, and Top Esports clearly did their homework because they were able to rotate in time to punish.
Yeah, and you know, just looking at this replay as well, everybody except for JackeyLove is on their way up here. This is a play that, you know, Top Esports had thought about, they'd seen coming, and you know, 369 clearly communicating, hey guys, like, I can buy a lot of time here, I'm almost level 6. It's really solid performance from Top and a great way for them to capitalize. And now it's about what are they going to do with this small lead, right? You've got a little bit of acceleration onto the rise. That Trinity Force is going to get hit a little bit sooner for Kanavi. Fights around these grubs, you would expect now to be a little bit more favored for Top Esports off the back of that. Looking at the gold disparities, there's a little bit of gold in favor of Flandre on that top side, because 369 did ultimately still get denied a lot of gold, but the bot side, importantly, very much favored for Top Esports, as Hope losing out heavily in that top play.
Kael stalls the entrance from Top Esports' bot lane. Kanavi now looking to flash in with the Cyclone. Looks for Shanks, trying to link up with Creme's rise. The flash commit from Creme allows Top Esports to get the feat of warfare. And the fight is still going strong in the river. Kael forced to flash away from 369's Darkened Blade. And the rest of the Pandas just cannot get a hang of Top Esports in the river.
Yeah, big overcommitment from Hope there, and unfortunately, you know, gets hit by that Cyclone, forced to ulti, flash barrier, and just about makes it out to safety. As an Annie, though, you've only got the flash. You've only got that one tool to get you out, and that wasn't enough to keep Shanks alive. Creme missing out on an overload, but ends up meaning that Kanavi picks up the kill in exchange. And just look at how deep Hope commits to trying to get this passive proc onto Hong here. He thinks that he can find a kill as on live. It does look like 369's in a little bit of trouble, but he's going to go down. Or
Tarzan knowing that 369 does not have flash from the prior skirmish on the top side, but 369 is healing up a lot from just the power of the Darkened Blade, and man, that is so depressing if you're Tarzan on the other extension of that trade.
Yeah, really good dodge, though. Keeps himself alive, meaning that he's not going to get that proc, not going to lose out on his life, able to go back to base and, you know, once again, just delay this Tarzan, delay Neferi from getting to that first item. Nice to see that even though you're in a little bit of trouble, Creme is able to hold this wave out as well and calls for Hong just to make sure that he's not going to be forced to lose out on too much. Overall, Top Esports having a pretty good time of things through this early game. Yes, 369 getting targeted quite a bit, but he's not going to be the focus for this game. It's about Creme, it's about JackeyLove as we move into the late game. A player who, you know, like we said, for the split 3 MVP, didn't really get too much focus in the early game. But we know that he's playing this Yunara champion. Later on, he's going to be an absolute menace.
That's one of the big things that we're looking forward to, seeing JackeyLove have a little bit more agency for himself in these team fights. Meanwhile, back in the replay, I mean, Tarzan practically lands 90% of his damage, but 369 is able to hit a majority of his skulls as well, and he sustains through it, and that last Darkened Blade, or the Darkened Dagger, I should say, misses out. Could have been the kill.
Yeah. Just barely as well, -1 Shanks, but it was a really, really close run thing in that top lane. Good to see that 369 just able to dodge out, and you know, despite all of the focus that's going his way, isn't feeling that pressure all that much. I think he's still going to be a force as we reach that 2-item spike. We know, you know, Sterax to Sundered Sky, it's going to go pretty well in terms of keeping the Aatrox nice and safe. Really good to see that the Grasp of the Undying is getting utilized as well. Yeah, we are on opposite sides of predictions today, that is true. Oh, any beef? Tarzan, he could
maybe. I mean, this Glizzy is about to get shredded. He's not able to eat over the wall. Finally gets the
Glizzy's about to get gobbled. What are we doing?
Don't worry, we're not
right there.
At that stage. Well, we're not at that stage of the game yet.
I'm ruining you. I see.
It's okay. You're teasing the audience a little bit. You know? If Tarzan gets absolutely mauled, then we'll send it. But Top Esports right now, they're doing a really good job of answering and standing up to Anyone's Legend in the early game. Because when you think about how Anyone's Legend made their run here in the first place, they had just been blitzing and kind of hands-checking a lot of their opponents. I would give them the credit that they have a little bit smarter macro once they're in position with those advantages, but the TP being committed by both solo laners means that Anyone's Legend is willing to die for the second dragon, and Top Esports are saying, okay, cool. 369, you good up there, buddy? Yeah, go get that turret, man. Get that gold for yourself.
I want you to watch this gold lead now in the top lane. It was 300 gold. Look at what's going to happen for 369 as he's committed to this top lane play. And whilst it doesn't necessarily mean all that much that we lose out on the dragon for Top Esports, it means that they get a lot back into their top laner, who was 300 gold down, is now 200 gold up. That's a 500 gold swing in just the top lane for making this play on the dragon. That's gone very deep there, Tarzan.
I mean, Tarzan is just trying to see if he can force them off his first break gold here from Top Esports. 369 pops the World Ender. He's not going to get out this time, so no chance to try even flash away. Anyone's Legend is able to at least get a punish down and 1 kill on their side. Hope, good use of the killer instincts, is able to sidestep another projectile from Top Esports. Could have been the last one that Hope saw before he hit the gray screen.
Hong there, barely able to get out to safety. I like that he's using the clone here to protect against any Void Seekers that are going to come through. But good that Hope's able to sustain off on that top side. I mean, looking at the gold overall, right, we were making the comment on the gold swing in terms of the play for the dragon. Yes, there's an element of gold that goes back over to Flandre for taking the kill onto 369. But 369 is still in a much better position than he previously was. He got 4 plates and first turret for that Drake play. Like, he's going to feel more than confident that that was the right call for him. Now a question or a matter of making sure that he levels up in that experience as well. He's still about half a level behind Flandre. but that's not too much of a concern. Given you look at the AD carries, JackeyLove very close to level 10, where Hope, only halfway through level 8, so a really big discrepancy, and 600 gold in favor of JackeyLove. He's got a call that's about to pop as well. Yes, these items at the minute are the same, but in just a little bit's time here, it's going to be a very different story.
Flandre sees a wild Nico and immediately flashes away from the E, just to not even give a chance for Top Esports to get a lot of priority on the top side. Down to Summoner Spell, but he'll still be insanely healthy to absorb the wave and continue at least laning against Creme. The rest of anyone's legend, looking at the next objective coming up, 30 seconds away from a Rift Herald. Right now, it's anyone's legend at least just escorting Shanks on the bottom side of the map and putting down a lot of aggressive vision control into the quadrant of Top Esports, but I would be remiss if anyone's legend did not try and fight for this Rift Herald if they can't set up vision control. I know Top Esports are ahead in gold, but if they just let that objective go over for free and they don't have a counterplay on the map, I'm very concerned for the Pandas and just getting blown out of the water and just gold difference going into the mid game.
Yeah, and I think we did a lot of work early on, Raafaa, at setting the stages for the series. Maybe falling a little bit in terms of the game here, as Kanavi's able to take away those little void. Okay. Yeah, takes away the crab. Tarzan absolutely fine. But this game in particular, Hope and the rest of anyone's legend, they're on a little bit of a clock here. The power of the Neferi, the power of the Annie, two champions that definitely subside as the game gets later, especially relative to their counterparts. Rise is going to go massive. Kanavi as well, going to be able to quite easily handle an Annie in that late game, as we are going to have to turn this. Herald has been started.
Okay, Tarzan secures the Herald, but someone needs to pop and pick up the eye. They're able to turn it on the Hong after he expends his Pop Blossom. Massive Cyclone from Kanavi. JackeyLove is free firing, and they're finally able to push through into the front line. Rest of anyone's legend is forced to retreat as Creme sends it with the Realm Warp. 5 Shanks as he flashes over the wall, and Tarzan could be the next target, but he has the E to at least get back to safety. But Top Esports, they knew that was the objective anyone's legend were willing to die for, and they are right there for the punish.
And once again, importantly, 369 is able to get a turret. This time he TPs in and has an impact on the fight as well. Tarzan, are you trying to sniff away a little Gromp here? This is a little bit illegal from you. Maybe looking to catch people as they walk back into the jungle. We can see Kael. Maybe fishing. Nothing here, nothing found from Tarzan, and honestly, quite rightly so. And he might even be the one that's a little bit caught now.
Oh, Tarzan.
Ugh.
I was just baffled. Okay, anyone's legend are still sending the fight, and maybe it was an elaborate ruse. Creme is traded, and it's a big shutdown going over to the pockets of Hope. Hong trying to hold the line, but he's not really a tank. But JackeyLove is doing work on the Yunara, and Flandre as a tank just gets melted at the hands of Top Esports. There's no big objective to play for immediately, but 25 seconds, and the third dragon will spawn.
AL reached too far and Top punished them once again. That's a 2-for-1. On the back half of a play that went very favorably for Top Esports. They found a turret top lane and were able to find the really big fight around the Herald as well. No tier 2, and they importantly aren't able to claim the gold of this tier 1 mid lane turret. But it's another fight that Top Esports are coming out on top of. You can see Kanavi here gets punted out of the pit, and Hong kind of gets left out in the lurch here. He gets a good Pop Blossom onto Hope, but Hope's able to kill her instinct out and get to safety. But then the rest of this fight, it's all Top Esports. Nobody's focusing JackeyLove whatsoever. Hope and Tarzan had free access, but they were caught between both carries. They know that if they focus Jackie, Creme's going to tear them a new one. If they focus Creme, vice versa. They couldn't stay there. They had to get out. And then the Realm Warp forces the Blast Cone, and then we saw the outset of that as well, the after effects, where we see another 2-for-1 in favor of Top Esports. They're 5k gold to the good here, Raafaa, and I think as this game gets later, the game only gets easier for Top. They've got this Rise, they've got this Yunara, they've got some great setup with Hong as well. Follow that up with Kanavi. Like, the game plays itself for Top Esports.
And there's just been some plays from anyone's legend this game, Rude, where I can't tell if they are intently trying to orchestrate a bait to lure Top Esports in, or if players are just making mistakes. Like the Tarzan overstay onto the top side. Yeah, they get TPs coming in from their solo lanes to try and capitalize off after the play. But I don't know whether to believe that was intentional by Tarzan, or if that was, okay guys, they're overcommitting for me, we need to kill them, or I'm gonna be very sad.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B here, as you know, you can make mistakes, but it's on Top Esports to punish them as well. For every throw, there has to be a catch, and so far Top Esports have done a very good job at capitalizing on that. Does look for all the world as though this first game is going to go their way. I think that for anyone's legend, their way back into this is unfortunately, to kind of keep sending it, it's to try and find people caught out and to continue on with these fights. Maybe in the late game, Flandre can be a really big menace and a massive force, but in the last sort of 2, 3, maybe 4 minutes, he's not picked up a lot of gold, right? He's gone from having Sunfire plus Bramble Vest when we saw him lose his flash 5 minutes ago to having picked up an extra cloth armor and those plated steel caps. Like he really hasn't been injected with much money recently, and he's now 1,500 gold behind 369.
Yeah, that's the world where you're getting dragged around as the main front line for your team. The rest of your carriers are saying, we want to go in. Flandre, you need to get in here. And
just
then
look at that on the side.
Yeah, and then top esports, every time that they have overgrouped, or at least anyone's legend has overgrouped, they have been willingly saying, yo, 369, we're giving up this objective. That's okay. Go farm that top side. Go get that bottom wave. And now, Aatrox is 2 items, and 369, even early on with the deficits, he was playing pretty darn well. He was receiving a lot of the games graciously, and now he's at a point where he can actually be a terrifying menace to deal with despite not being, you know, a tank like Sion.
Yeah, and you know, they flew up the graphic of total player gold. 369 is actually the richest member in this game right now.
Holy.
Despite all of those issues that he found in the early stages of the game. You can see him maybe now even trying to flex that on to Flandre here in the bot side, and being quite happy to just take this little 1 versus 1. Finally, we get to see Flandre pick up a little bit of magic resistance, so he'll be able to stand up to Creme at that little bit better with the Aegis in his back pocket. But with Creme, you know, you're really focusing on the frontline players. You're trying to make your way through the Sion, make your way through the Alistair, and then maybe a flash combo onto Hope if he goes a little bit too deep. I do think that AL still have a way to commit to winning this game. Their pick focus in the team fights can yield them good fruit, but it's whether or not they've got enough damage and enough ability to quickly take out Jackie and Creme, and then still have enough to deal with this mammoth duo that is the Bruisers on the top side. Kanavi and 369 currently are kind of in their heyday. This is the best part of the game for these two Bruisers, where they've got, you know, really powerful first items being picked up, a little bit of sustainability in their second, and then hopefully they can just run through the honestly quite squishy members of Hope and Shanks and Tarzan as well.
Yeah, that's the advantage of having a multi-carry composition and you don't fall behind. The fact that top esports have this massive gold advantage means that everyone on top is a threat. And even though anyone's legend has the setup to kill 1 or maybe 2 people, you still have to deal with the others, and anyone's legend is feeling the pains of that right now. They can barely walk through their own blue quadrant jungle as top esports bully them out. The teleport comes in for 369, and I think it's Otacon time.
Yeah, I mean, you take Kael down to 50% HP, his spellbook swaps away from the heal as well, so yes, he might be able to ghost his way through, looking for a flank angle around the backside of the Baron pit, but it's a long walk for him. Instead, just pops the ghost early, going to try and get in through the front door. 6k on the Atacon, and AL have bullied top esports away for now, just making top esports a little bit cautious.
Kanavi did take some damage. Kael goes in right on top of Creme's face. That forces the flash. Great response from Hong with the Paw Blossom. Kanavi's into the back line. And just like that, the pin is getting eviscerated. The Otacon still too healthy for Tarzan to try and look for a steal. Top Esport just made it look easy in the Otacon pit. And it's a 369 quadra kill to top it off.
And they put all of their eggs into putting 369 in the dirt. And this time round, he says no thank you. He will fight back. And he finds a quadra in the topside fight around the Atacon. I mean, I don't know who stole the Penta. Scumbag to that person. Kanavi, Creme, whichever one of you it was. How dare you? This man has been through trials and tribulations in this game. Penta was the least he deserved for his efforts. But they managed to find 2 turrets on the side lanes. They're going to go back and take the Dragon as a sort of freebie afterwards. But this all comes from Hong. Kael goes in, but look at this Nico Pot Blossom. 1, 2, 3 members all caught up. He finds the route onto Shanks off the back of it as well. I mean, Hope here should never be getting hit by that Pot Blossom. He's got this flash. He needs to be monitoring where he needs to see the Nico. When this Pot Blossom's coming through, there's only 1 or 2 really big CC spells that he needs to be keeping eyes on. And it is the Nico Pot Blossom, it's the Rise route. If you can get away from both of those with the Flash and the Killer Instinct, you can do a lot more in these team fights, but really a pretty underwhelming team fight there. Something that, you know, cost them quite dearly. He's now down 2 levels, not really keeping any pace on items either. Despite the fact that he's even on gold with JackeyLove because he's been playing support Yunara this game. not in the best position.
Ooh. I didn't even catch this
Series
at the
score.
beginning. But
Yeah.
series score. Top Esports currently favored for the year.
An all-time. Yeah, it's really nice to see that Top Esports getting this leg up in game number 1, and through 2025 it has been that story. 4 people now on the bot side. 369 is healing off everyone.
Redemption comes in. It's an anti-one because it's from anyone's legend side, and 369 will not get to see the light of day this time on the fight. It did cost a lot of tools from the Pandas to make sure that they could bring the World Ender down. Top Esports was able to at least push another wave into the tier 2 turret in the mid lane, and anyone's legend get a chance to breathe for a little bit, but there's still no objectives to play for. 13 seconds before Baron spawns on the top side. And from Top Esports' position, Root, it feels like you're just one good fight away from being able to march into the Nexus and just move on to game 2.
Yeah, again, to sort of demonstrate the power of these two compositions, if AL are looking to win these fights, they have to commit pretty much exclusively onto JackeyLove at this point. Committing onto Creme isn't going to get you a kill because he has Seraphs plus Sonya's plus the help from Rod of Ages. And AL just don't have the damage at this stage in the game to make that work. They have to commit onto Jackie and then hope, and I mean hope in the literal sense here, that they've got the damage to be able to get through 369 Kanavi and JackeyLove and Creme afterwards, which at this point in the game they simply don't. They're down 7,000 gold. They don't have the ability to quickly churn through one specific carry and then keep themselves alive. Yes, we found a quick pick onto 369, which sort of alleviated some of the stresses for a little bit there, but that's not enough to get them back into the game. For Top Esports, they've got 4 carries who are all, quite safe. I think Jackie's the only one who's particularly fearful for his life in this fight, but he's so little of a consequence and such an inconvenience, more so to the rest of his team, that it doesn't matter if he dies.
And now AL are forced to try and see if they can tango with Top Esports for this Baron. Massive knockup from Kael, but there's no follow-up. He's the only one there. Hong flashing forward, identifies the real threat, and Tarzan getting the flash out. Hong is bursted by the anti-Tibbers throwdown. Rest of Top Esports trying to reposition around JackeyLove. He's firing and he's transcendent on the Yunara. No one is free, hitting him. Hong sends it into the backline with a killer instant. He flashes away, and both AD carries go down swinging. But at the end of the day, it's still 369 Creme and Kanavi that stand tall. They stand steadfast, and they're the ones outplaying anyone's legend in game 1.
You can take down Jackie, but what are you doing about this Aatrox who is healing thousands of HP per auto attack in your face? Top Esports are going to take the Baron. They'll be able to march this down mid lane afterwards, hopefully break open the base. But look at the HP on 369 through this fight. It just paints the picture perfectly for how difficult this game is for anyone's legend. Yes, they focus Creme out on the top side, get his stasis nice and early, but JackeyLove again free hitting the majority of this fight. And the healing, the shielding that comes through from this Aatrox is just insane. He gets taken down to 1,000 HP. Sterax heals for 922. Then autos again, gets back to full HP, and he's just vamping through everything. You can see that even if Hope had have flashed away from a crucial skill shot, if he had found a way to take down Hope and take down Jackie and then still be able to DPS Creme, Creme's there with 2,000 temporary HP. There's no way that there's an ability for Hope to outplay that and then have to still get through 369 afterwards. It is really all on this AD carry, and at the minute he just doesn't have what it takes.
Rest of Top Esports now getting aggressive into anyone's legend.
Red Quadrant.
Here comes the Realm Warp.
Beautiful!
Blossom! Perfect frame! Pop Blossom! Delivered by the Realm Warp of Creme! This is Top Esports in their peak form and at the right time, because every game matters in this best of 5 if they want a chance to qualify to Worlds against BLG.
Creme riding on the coattails of Hong there, sends the Realm Warp up, and the Pop Blossom is beautiful. It is time to perfection, and it sends AL's game 1 to a 28-minute grave. With the Baron at their backs, Mark, this game's done.
Top Esports are at their best when it's not just depending on JackeyLove, when everyone is firing at their best. And boy, oh boy, did they give us a show. Game 1 goes to Top Esports in our lower finals.
Oh, and if we've got 3 more, 2 more, 4 more of those games to go, Mark, This is going to be a great morning, great evening for you guys as well. That was a very, very, very good game to watch. Top Esports firing on all cylinders from top to bot lane. I mean, for this game and for this series and for Top Esports in particular, we've been talking about JackeyLove and Kanavi. And for me, and this isn't a slight on them in this game, they were the two least relevant members of this game. Hong with massive pot blossoms. Creme, again, realm up after realm up, doing really, really good stuff. 369 being put in the dirt for the first 5-10 minutes of the game and then coming out with Quadra-Killer Atacon, the most gold in the game, like a 5k gold lead over his counterpart in the second half of the game as we closed out this first match. That is the Top Esports that needs to be feared and that, again, domestically, everybody's terrified of.
Go back to the predictions. Throw that up. Right now, if you're favoring Top Esports, you're feeling good about the way that this Game 1 played out so far. Now, this is how things can sometimes mislead us on the broadcast. Game 1s, we're not going to be Game 1 Andes, but I will give credit where credit is due. And when we look at Top Esports, their historical strength. Yes, JackeyLove has been with this organization the longest, the most tenured, and has had amazing historical legacy players in a revolving door always coming around him. And you think at the end of the day, well, if Top Esports has no one, well, at least they have JackeyLove. But you pointed out, Roodood, the fact that JackeyLove got Yunara, which gives him a lot of freedom, a lot of agency to play the team fights as he wills, and he didn't even have to be burdened with doing the heavy lifting a majority of the time. That is a great sign, and that is where you want Top Esports to be. Because then if JackeyLove doesn't have that responsibility, then it's nowhere near as damning when he's not able to perform.
Yeah, exactly. It's really solid that seeing Top Esports can have these 5 players that are all coming together, and I don't doubt that if 369 was having a stinker, if Creme was playing poorly, that JackeyLove would have been able to do very strong work in those team fights, but he didn't have to, and that's what you want to see. Those are the bright spots through these games, and you can see, like, that's just mirrored in the damage, right? Like, it didn't feel like JackeyLove was popping off, but he was still doing the most damage in the game, going crazy in these team fights, constantly front to backing effectively. And you know, he only died one time in the back half, where Hope sort of commits himself to taking him down and dies for it anyway. Even still, a really solid game number 1. What I love about this as well is that the kill participations are so even, and that's how you can generally tell how a team is functioning. Is okay, who's making the plays happen? Well, this time round, it was just out team fighting and outplaying.
And now the question for Top Esports, specifically their solo laner, comes to consistency for this series. Because that has been the big thing that has plagued Top Esports from split to split to split. Obviously, they were able to lock in enough times in Split 1 to win the title during that part of the year, but when we look back at Split 2, when they fell to WE of all teams, 369 and Creme were kind of the big stinkers there. And then you think about some of the big question marks there. And Creme, even in the BLG series, has a great rise game in Game 2, but then almost looks invisible in the last couple of losses against BLG. 369. We already talked about the Gragas game, which is, at the time, was so disappointing from a fan perspective, because we know historically 369 Gragas is usually one of his more resilient and enduring picks. But if this is the 369 and Creme we get for the rest of the series, then I'm not a flip-flopper. I will commit to my and you know, eat the burden of picking the wrong team to win, but we might get a rematch of our upper finals if this is the pace of the game.
Yeah, and Top Esports, right, like you mentioned it, they did it so well, and it is, as you mentioned, really about that consistency. For anyone's legend, it becomes a question of, well, what went wrong, right? And I think that with this composition, they pigeonholed themselves into a need to win early, and the second they lose that fight on the top side, where the TP, or the Realm Warp rather, comes through from Creme, it just kind of ruins their momentum in that game, ruins the way that their composition looks to play. And I think as well that when we've been so happy with anyone's legend, it's been because Tarzan and Kael are the two that are coming together. And in this split in particular, it's been when Tarzan has been popping off. It's a case of making sure that this jungler can do great work. And maybe it's the fact that he's playing up against Kanavi, a player who's, you know, pretty much on that wave, that it's tricky because Kanavi can sort of say, this is where it's happening, this is what's going to go down. And I love this slow-mo, this replay. Beautiful.
This was so beautiful. The funny thing is, Rude, the game was over like 5 minutes before this play, but it was so sick. And just for like highlights, I hope our socials team got that, and just don't let the rest of the world know that the game was already decided, you know, before then. To be like, this is the game-winning play, perfect frame, blah, blah. I mean, come on. That pure cinema right there.
The Nico hadn't even popped up like on screen, and they just get hit with a triple. Like it was disgusting. It was truly disgusting. But Top Esports made it work, and they showed us what they've got for game number 1. Again, it's now that matter of consistency. It's a matter of AL stepping back up and going back to the drawing board, saying, okay, now we need to find a way back into this one, and hopefully being able to bounce back. The last 2 times that these teams have met each other in best of 5, they both series went 3-1. This was back in split number 1. It's worth saying. But the series were 3-1s either side. It was a trade. AL won the first one for Demacia. Top Esports won the second one for Split 1. So, you know, it was a good run.
That's right. Well, let's see who got the MVP for this series. Yeah,
I mean, this one's
kind of hard not to give it to 369 after he picks up a quadra in the Otacon pit, and he's able to sustain the top side so long and essentially bait anyone's legend into their first of many demises that occurred this game 1, and it's a great return to form, hopefully a permanent return to form for 369, so that we continue getting the best of Top Esports. But y'all, that wraps up game number 1 here of our lower finals between Anyone's Legend and Top Esports. Quick message though, as always, if you would like to support LPL English, consider becoming a Coffee member. Coffee is the best way to support the LPL English project, since the vast majority of your contributions will go directly to the show. A lot of the initial payments go into upgrading the broadcast, but a huge bulk of it pays on-air talent and content creators. So subscribe to our Coffee, linked in the chat, to unlock perks like early access to content and the ability to ask interview questions for unique on-site interviews. Without further ado, y'all, Top Esports has taken game 1 here in our lower finals. We'll see what's in store for us on the other side of this break.